Today marks 37 years when I joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was 17 years old, 6 months, and 1 day when I joined. And it changed my life. It changed everything about me. It is the single most important decision I made. And that might become just a shock because I'm married and have kids, but all that wouldn't have happened without the church in my life. So here are the 3 things that are the most important things that help my life as a member. The things that I find above all else is most important. And this is not ranked because it'd be too hard to rank these. So let's go. Number 1, my relationship with my Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ. And I separate those and I talk about those very distinctly. If you followed me here on TikTok, you know that having grown up with Christian beliefs and being taught by pastors and things like that, it's very hard to understand who those 2 beings are until you join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And to know that my Heavenly Father and my older brother, Jesus Christ, right? They, while perfect, while all-powerful, I can relate to them because they're 2 people with 2 souls. And their whole purpose is to bring us all back to them. My Heavenly Father is not, looking at all of us down here and going, who are the most important? He wants every single person to return. And that knowledge to me gives me such great hope and love and understanding. Number 2 is the plan of salvation. To know where I came from, why I'm here, and where I'm going, not only gives me laser focus on my life and what's important to me, but it puts things in perspective. Even though I'm old and graying and thinning and not as flexible in my golf swing, I can look back at every decade of my life and pick out points where understanding the plan helped me overcome hard times or helped me appreciate the amazing times. And I think having that perspective, that knowledge that we are on a path, right? We began on a path before we got here. We are here for a certain purpose, and in the next life, there'll be other purposes that we will fulfill. That brings me just such great love and hope and joy. The 3rd thing is the community. As someone who grew up as a minority kid, there are points in my life that without the gospel of Jesus Christ in it and without my community, my life would have been very different. I was just a year into the church when my high school principal and campus security guard tried to railroad me for something I didn't do, not knowing I was 18 and not 17, which would have put me in jail for over a decade and made me a serious felon, which, if you know anything about the law and serious felonies, it would have ruined my life, right? But because and it's only because I had my church behind me. My ward showed up at my hearings, my church hired lawyers and investigators, and that principal and that security guard got fired because of it. But without it, I would have been a statistic like you read about so many times. So that's one thing. The second thing that the community really has done is if you don't know how our church is organized, you don't get to pick and choose which congregation you go to. It's all geography. So they try to they create these areas that integrates people from all different walks of life, especially socioeconomic, which is really important. So my mom is a German immigrant. My father was Filipino, the son of a Filipino immigrant. Neither went to college. Nobody had gone to college in my family yet at the time. And the likelihood of me going to college was probably pretty low. I'll be honest with you. So I was a teenager in the 80s. Most of my friends didn't go to college or didn't finish college. That was pretty shocking when I went back and met up or heard from my brother about a lot of my friends. And so the community is really amazing because I wanted to go to college. As a matter of fact, that's how I actually found the church, because I left a private school to go to public school to play basketball and was hoping for a scholarship. And that's where I met the church. But then I was part of this community where I had very successful people all around me and people who went to college and things like that. And I kept getting asked, are you going to college? What are your plans? Are you thinking about a mission? Because I'd only been a member for a short period of time. And because these people loved and cared about me, they helped me to go on a mission and they made sure I got to college, right? And being 54 and a consumer behavioralist and having more data at my fingertips than probably anybody on this app, if anybody tells you that college isn't important, don't believe it. Don't believe it. You'll make twice as much in your entire career than if you don't have a college degree. Those are just straight facts. And so having all these people around me is amazing. Matter of fact, my wife grew up in the same ward that had Mitt Romney, Clayton Christensen, and all these amazing, world-leading consultants. And hearing the stories about how they lifted everybody up is pretty amazing, from inner Boston to outside to the more wealthy areas. So that part of the community has been really helpful. And I'll end on this, and this may be a bonus comment, but my family and my marriage made it 31 years because of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because of the understanding of eternal marriage and eternal families. When I joined the church and I learned about eternal families and eternal marriage, it was one of the things that just brought me such great peace, because my family, right, my mother, my father, my brothers and sisters, we were at a crossroads. If I didn't join the church, my family, my mom wouldn't be alive. My parents' marriage would have been pretty much done, and my siblings and I probably would have fallen away just because of I've seen that pattern. But joining the church and bringing this teaching of eternal marriage and eternal families gave us hope, and that hope kept us together. And so it also taught me the things that I wanted in my marriage, and it gave me hope that marriage can be successful, it can be hopeful, and even when things get hard, life throws stuff at you. Marriage isn't difficult from a relationship perspective, right? You can always work on that. It gets hard when life throws a lot of unscheduled things at you that you have no control over. And I'm so grateful for the gospel in my life, because it really helps, again, prioritize and minimize the difficulty that those things may be, even if they're huge hurdles or barriers. So I'm grateful for that. But it's definitely a day of gratitude. I know this went a little long, but